You've been introduced to the screen as well as a few of the basic tools. What I'd like to do now is show you how to personalize your screen settings. I'm going to use an existing drawing and walk you through some of the methods and things that we need and don't need on the screen and how some of the tools work. So, first things first, I can see that part of my drawing is actually obscured behind the tool palette, and I'd like to get rid of that. There's several ways to do this. I could click right here on this X. I can also go up to the View tab. You will notice in the View tab that there are 5 highlighted areas. And what I'm going to do is simply turn off a few of these by clicking those buttons. The Tool Palettes button is here. If I ever need it back, I can always turn it back on. Right now, I don't need it. I also see there are some other buttons that are highlighted here, a navigation bar and a view cube bar. Those two items, as we see over on the right-hand side of the screen, are floating on top of our drawing. And if we were to pan our drawing underneath them, it would slide underneath, as you can see there. Now the problem with this is that if my drawing were underneath here and I went to click on the object, I'm thinking I'm going to click part of my drawing, but if I accidentally hit part of my view cube, I can be thrown into sort of a three-dimensional view of this. Now this is a flat drawing, but you can see that now that I've clicked on the corner of my view cube, it has become oblique, and if I try to fix it, oops, my drawing is now sideways, and I have to continue messing around with this until it comes back correct. This can be a major source annoyance for a new user, so I want to turn my view cube off. I'm going to do that by clicking on this icon and shutting it down. The same is true for the navigation bar. The tools that are shown in the navigation bar can all be accessed by agile use of the mouse. I'm going to teach you how to be using the mouse, so we can turn that off as well. There is one more item up here that I do not need for this introductory class, and that is the Layouts tab. So you can see them down in the bottom left corner of the screen. We won't be using them, and so I'm going to turn those off as well, just to avoid confusion. This cleans up the screen dramatically, and we can now use the entire drawing area for what we need. There is one other item here on the screen that can cause consternation for new students. In the upper left-hand corner are these controls that control our viewports. I'd very much like you all to turn these off. It's a little bit more complicated to get into these, but I think that in the end it's well worth it. I'm going to introduce a new command here. This is the Options command. Type OP, enter. That will bring up the Options dialog box. Now, there are tons and tons of things to do in here, but what we are most concerned about right now is turning off the viewport controls. Those controls are located in the 3D modeling tab. Click on that tab. Down here in the lower left-hand corner, there's a checkbox. Uncheck it, click Apply, click OK, and both the dialog box and those controls now have disappeared. This sets you up to be much more effective in learning AutoCAD because the pitfalls that are common with clicking in the wrong area of the screen have been eliminated.